Good morning. We are Friday, the January 19th, 2018, and today it's the second edition of the free personal branding webinar with our fantastic brand marketer and personal branding expert. I have named Nathaniel Schooler. We also have the luck today to have our closing engine expert, Mr. Jason Kanigan, and if the temperature and the wind elements allows it, they're gonna be live in a few seconds. At the end of the personal branding webinar, we will also welcome one of our guests, Roseanny Lui, author, and she will engage with Nathaniel and Jason about, being an author, what's the importance of personal branding with that, and they can shuffle together questions and answer all together. So for now, I'm gonna try to reach out to. So who's there? I think Jason Kanigan is there in a second. Jason Kanigan, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Stephane. Thank you, and thank you for my BBTV for hosting this. Appreciate it very much. Anybody who needs high-level, powerful tech help, talk to Stephane right there. He's the man. And so let's bring on Nathaniel, because he and I want to talk a little bit about personal branding and storytelling today.
Yeah, did you ask Scotty to beam up Nathaniel Schooler?
Nathaniel?
To the
you see, Scotty,
Enterprise?
beam
Scotty,
him up.
Scotty,
I don't have the hair to do the
can you beam up Nathaniel Schooler?
I can do the Picard.
Expert. Scotty, come on, let's be serious 1 minute. Okay, 3, 2, 1, synchronization. Thank you, Scotty. Nathaniel Schooler from UK. Woohoo!
Yes. Good morning, Nathaniel. Thanks for joining us.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. I know it's like 10 a.m. where you are, right, you guys?
I know it's not the question and answer period, but I have a question. Before
Really?
5 o'clock, what do the Brit do, before tea time?
We drink tea. We drink tea all day. Like I've had like 3 cups of tea already. I've been traveling around a little bit the past few days, and it's been pretty crazy. I went to Oxford on Monday night to give a talk on personal branding. Had around 50 people, and that went very, very well actually. And that was at the Oxford Technology Group, which is by application only. So I had a couple of people from the BBC connect with me afterwards, which was fantastic. And yeah, they're all very interested to read my book, because the organizers of that networking group, there are about 400 members, but Grant Thornton were sponsors of that, and the organizers actually covered the cost of my book for all of the people who came to the event. So that went very well. Then on Tuesday, I went up to Stoke-on-Trent, which is another 4.5-hour drive in my little car. And I got up there and I had a look around one of the most amazing places. It's like a sound healing kind of place. That was quite amazing. And so now today, last night I went to see my dad, and I'm staying now down in Chichester for a few days. So I went to see my friend Eric and Amanda, friends Eric and Amanda, and they're really like into tech and stuff like that. So right now I'm kind of just sitting in one of their offices, and I got my little camera, my laptop's down here. So don't think badly of me if I sort of look down, because sometimes I like to look at what slides I'm talking about. So. But it's pretty funny, we've got some great slides, we've got some great little stories to tell, and we're gonna outline the nuts and bolts, really, aren't we, of the personal branding today.
So for folks who are watching, the structure of storytelling, the elements that need to go into storytelling to make personal branding work for you, are not something that really can be left to chance, and they need to be engineered, right?
I'm always
would you agree?
Yeah, when prospect, customer, friends, and entrepreneurs on social media or in real life are asking me, what is that buzz around personal branding? Well, I say, if you're someone and people know what you do and they come to you knowing what you do with an opinion, you have a personal brand. If they don't, you don't have any. You think you're branding yourself, but in fact, you're not. You're pitching a product instead of trying to solve a problem. That problem. Well, out there are so many problems that we cannot affirm that we are solving all of the problem. But with assessment and method and discipline, which are, I think, the three pillars of personal branding, you can overcome that. And personal branding is not something you can master. You cannot provoke it. It's something that is like appearing by itself, right? You do, and you work hard on what you have to do. You structure your exercise in personal branding so you understand who you are, what you're good at, and then just don't pretend it, just don't pitch it, just act, behave. The result will come by themselves. And I'm always saying it's better to look better in the eye of the stranger or a relative or a customer or a partner, because actually this is his opinion in his mind. And when he has an opinion, you can't retrieve that from his brain. This is your personal branding, the brand image that everybody, which are completely different in terms of individual and profiles and mindsets, they have an idea about you. This is good, because the worst thing that can happen is like nothing. Like, I don't have any opinion
Obscurity.
about you, and
Right.
thank you for being in my scope, but can you toss a little bit on the left, because I need to talk to AYZ, and go forward. So I think we should start with the free personal branding webinar. I think if people are watching the Facebook Live today, you can ask questions in the comment section, and as well, Nathaniel Schooler is giving away a free personal branding toolkit on demand. I mean, for those that interact with him, he will be happy to send through emails the famous toolkit that everyone is looking for. A toolkit is something good. It's a start. You start to understand, the ins and outs of personal branding. But I would recommend to everybody to book 1 hour face-to-face with Nathaniel, or to participate in collective webinars. It depends on the people. Some would like to have a personalized one-to-one session or several ones to work on their personal branding. And some people are more collective. They are visual and understand things in groups, but in a community, because they interact with themselves. So it depends. Everyone can ask Nathaniel for that consulting session. And I'm going to leave my place now to the visuals. And after that, we will engage with one of our guest friends, the author Roseanny Lui. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephane. So yes, this is a live show, and if you're on the Facebook Live, please enter your comments, questions. Stephane will see them and send them along to us. We'll be back every Friday for a while. We're doing a series of these shows. So Nathaniel, what do people need to know about personal branding and storytelling?
Well, I think to expand on what you guys were talking about, I think the most important thing is actually the authenticity of people, and it's pointless being fake at all. You must explain what you do very simply in words that resonate with people. People in fact need to know what you do in words that they understand. And this is a big problem for a lot of technical people. I mean, I'm working with a lady at the moment, very, very experienced. She's actually been in the architectural world for nearly 30 years, and she's won loads of awards. One of her projects for an eco resort actually won over 66 awards, and that's just to date, and I have no idea how many more that's going to win, but she's won lots of awards. She's built she's helped to coordinate the reduction of carbon emissions, etc., for huge hospitals, you know, like over 1 billion in project costs. And she is very technical in her terminology. So together we're at the moment, we're actually working on reducing the amount of technical words that she uses so that we can help CEOs and chief finance officers understand the benefits of what she does. And those words need to be very simple so that they understand, because a lot of people in the business world, especially when they reach the top of their game, like she has, they use all of these really I would call it just technical terms, yeah, and normal people don't understand what these technical terms mean. So a CEO is a normal person. He's not an architect. He's not a programmer. Yeah, he's a CEO of a big organization. So he's top level. Yeah, the CFO does not talk techno words, techno speak. He doesn't understand. So communicating what she does is delivering the best results. So my dad used to work in that industry. He used to work in the architectural industry. They used to manufacture products in America. So we've kind of suggested some really great routes to market for her, because she's based in Canada. So we've actually discussed ways she can get right in front of the right people in America, because that's a market that she hasn't really tapped into yet. And it's very exciting to help people to fulfill their career goals and their business goals. Is just like, I mean, I just love it. Like that it's just, do you know what I mean? It just gives me a buzz, right?
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
So I think Stephane's got some slides, hopefully. With some luck, I'm just going to look down here. Here we go. So I'm going to tell you a brief little story, right? Okay. So this story I tell quite a lot, because it's pretty scary, right? So I'm going to start off by just saying that everybody has a personal brand, okay? And along the scale of friendliness from 0 to 10, all right, you can work it out, okay? And there's a gentleman here on the left-hand side of the picture, and he's wearing a yellow shirt, and that shirt contain the black dots on it are pictures of guns all over his shirt. He has a scar on his face like this, and he has a personal brand, whether you like it or not. So he is actually sitting in the passport office when I've arrived in Latin America to cross over the border by boat, which is in fact the only time I will cross over the border by boat. Well, it's not the only time, it's the last time. I've done it a few times over the years because I used to do a bit of backpacking and stuff. And he was sitting in the passport office at the front desk, this guy. So he evidently had a personal brand, right? It might not have been a public personal brand for everybody to see, but it was nevertheless, it was a personal brand, and it was not a friendly personal brand. It was almost, I would call it an offensive manner that he had, but I kind of got on quite well with him. Excuse me, sorry about that. This is my camera. And he was really cool, and actually a really nice individual, because I spoke a bit of Spanish. We kind of got on quite well, and it was an interesting one. We then actually moved. And we got on the boat, and then a general shows up with a soldier with him, with the biggest gun I've ever seen. And the general asked this chap's boss for the paperwork. He said, "Papeles, por favor." Asked him for the paperwork, and then we kind of got on the boat, and an hour and a half later, when we've arrived across the border, we went across into the next location, the next country, and we've arrived there, and this was just insane. So I'm standing in the I've got off the boat, and I've kind of said hello to a few people, and I've got off, and I've stood right there at the passport desk where the glass is, right? So I'm kind of waiting there, and there are people in line, and I'm waiting. I'm about third person behind, and this gentleman, who is obviously not a national, and he hasn't got his passport, the gentleman in the yellow shirt has just waltzed. He's just wandered straight through, and he said 3 words to the people who are officials of the country that he's entering, and they said nothing to him. And his personal brand, it was evident that, if they stepped out of line, he was going to kill them, basically. I mean, this was a serious gangster. We're not talking. That's why I haven't told you which country this was, right? Because I'm going to go back there, and I don't want to get targeted by the FBI or even the gangsters, right? So his personal brand was not approachable. It was not friendly. It was authoritative, and it said, if you mess with me, I'm going to kill you. And that was his style. And everyone has a style, and they have a personal brand, and it just depends on how they want people to see them. And that's really, really important. Yeah. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Hey, Ingrid, nice to see you. So the personal brand that you have, I looked through so many images on Shutterstock for this image here. There were 160 pages of magnets, right? And I know you're in sales, Jason, so you understand that you can attract the right sales leads and the right potential customers, right, or clients, but you don't suck them in backwards into a magnet whilst they're looking the other way, which is what all of the other magnets generally on Shutterstock were. Okay. So I thought this magnet here of this really happy young lady was actually quite representative of the personal brand, of someone's personal brand, and how it works for them. Because when you get it right, people come to you. Yeah. And they just come to you and they ask you to help them, and then you have a brief conversation which outlines how you can help them, and then they buy what you have. And that's what I just find absolutely fantastic about when you get that personal brand right. It just it gives you such a good feeling,
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. One of the hardest things to do in sales, if you don't have a brand, is to stand out. You need to stand out. And then people need to know what they're coming to you for, right? And then once they do, there's none of this, well, Nathaniel, prove to me that you can do what you do. Prove to me that you can help me. I don't really understand the problem that you solve. And going back to that, right at the very beginning, you mentioned therapists and doctors and things like that. People who take on roles that end up having a lot of technical jargon to them. That can get extremely confusing and turn people off because they don't know what you're talking about outside, right? It's fine maybe for a referral type situation where another professional is referring patients to you maybe because they already know what you do, that other professional. But if you're going directly to the patients, they're probably not going to understand. And doctors end up talking about gobbledygook because they have to talk about this particular muscle right here or something, right? And so they have to make up something that tells you exactly where that is. But that has no meaning to the rest of us.
Exactly.
So, okay. Exactly. So what can our viewers do to begin deliberately and authentically developing their personal brand?
Could we slip on to the next slide, please, Stephane? That would be really helpful. And then I can kind of talk everybody through the process. I mean, it's quite a simple process, and that next slide should kind of help quite a lot. So I'm going to boom. Let's hopefully he'll be able to click us through. And this represents a lady who you have just talked to for the last 10 minutes explaining what you do, and she has no idea, right? And I see this all the time. So the first thing you need to do is to actually be able to explain what you do in words that people understand very simply. It doesn't include any jargon, and it becomes a really nice process. It's a lovely process, and I have outlined the process in my book of what to do with that. And that's the most important thing at the beginning. What do you do, and explaining what you do or what you want to do, because you can position in the future if you want. You don't have to position your personal brand as what you're doing now, but you can leverage what you've done in the past, and you can say, I'm learning about X, I'm learning about Y. Okay, so please could you slip on to the next slide? That would be helpful. Thank you. So explaining why you're credible and what gives you authority is really, really helpful. So if you know, you can use things like, you can say, I've been in the industry for 15 years. I have won this award. I've won that award. I've done X. I've done Y. I've worked with this company. I've worked with that company. And if you can cover those things and also some other things, and you can use those words in the right way, then you're gonna do really well. So can you slip on to the next one, please, Stephane? That'd be helpful. Thank you. So yeah, I think all of these things help you to build influence, but they don't help you to actually explain why you're different. This snail here, we know why he's different, right? Like he's jumping over them, yeah, and that's what we're all fighting to do. And if we don't explain why we're different and or better than anybody else, why is someone going to do business with us? They're just not, right? You know.
Certainly better.
Yeah. So yeah. Can you slip on to the next slide, please, Stephane? It'd be kind of helpful. See what that one is. I think I have another one. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I dropped one into the album, but it's okay. It's not a problem. It was one outlining the particular words that you want people to think of when you're not here anymore, right? And so it's kind of like you can have aspirations of how you want people to look at you and what you want people to say about you when you're not in the room. And those words can be designed, but if they're not authentic, there's a disconnect. So it has to represent how good you are at what you do, your ethics, your morals, your principles, your focus, your, just words that describe you as an individual. And then it just becomes like such fun. And this process that I outline and I work with was taught to me by a gentleman that has used it for positioning, Petronas, which is a huge oil company. They went into Formula One. He's used this for Remy Martin Cognac, worked with them, Krug Champagne, many top brands. So I've been given the most beautiful teachings they are time honored, the processes I use. And like you, Jason, I don't use techno speak or meaningless jargon when I work with people. I work on a very simple level that cuts through all of the wasted time and effort,
Yeah. So to get that connection happening quickly, you need to stand out. And to stand out, you need to be clear about what you do and what you want the other people, to remember about you.
Yeah,
I used to use this very effectively when back in the days when I worked jobs, and I'd go in for interviews and I would knock everybody else out of the water. And it wasn't hard for me. I just told stories that exemplified who I was and what I did for the companies that I worked for. And I would get the offer right then. It would be almost funny and sad because the other people were well. The other people went back to their resume. Right. Mm-hmm. And it says, I might use a resume as a reminder of what story to tell that was suitable for that moment. So
yeah. I mean,
tell us a little bit more where people who are watching could start. What could they do right now?
I mean, if they want to work with me, then that's great. If you don't have kind of much budget, then I have a book you can buy, which is which we'll post the link in the show notes.
Cheers to
you. Outlines the whole process. Yeah, cheers to you. And that's just available on our own site. And you bought the book as well, Jason. That's why we're working together, because you know you've seen the value in it, and it's very exciting. I mean, that's why I became the IBM futurist, you know, because
and I've been following.
Look, I have the T-shirt, right? So you know, it kind of positions people to the right place, yeah. And if people want to work with me, then just drop me a message, because I have a little bit of time available for a few clients every month, and I split my time between doing that and working with Stephane and the team on digital ecosystem sales and project management consulting, really, because no one likes to be sold to. I mean, I had a lady yesterday. She approached me and she said something like, I need some help with my personal brand. So I said, okay, that's great. Would you like to buy my book? Here's the book. I'd love to work with you. So she didn't know that I was saying to her that I wanted her to hire me. So then she said, oh, that's lovely of you. I'll take a look at it. And then, you know, I'd love to work with you, blah, 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 but I don't have much money and stuff like this. So I was like, okay, no problem. That's fine. This is what I charge. And when you're ready, you come back and we'll talk about it. And she sent me a message back saying, that's so lovely. Your refreshing approach. You're not trying to sell to me, push me to do anything at all. And then I said, that's so kind of you to come back to me. Here's my book. And I just sent her my book. And she was so happy and so grateful that I know that I will have a client and she's going to come back and buy. You know?
Most of the time, if I may interject here, it's like people don't know what they are suffering from. So it's a lot from us to do some active listening, give the time. And sometimes we're surprised that people are taking, you know, mysterious ways to make a loop, but the loop is necessary for their experience.
Yeah.
Dust sometimes needs to go down. When people are suffering from a situation, psychological, social, economical, they need to understand that panicking or getting depressed won't get the things better. And if you have that empathy, and they are just watching, because social media is everywhere in everybody's hand with a smartphone, whatever the brand would be, then people are watching and their anxiety goes down bit by bit, block by block, to the point I was saying, maybe I'm missing the boat, not the one with a gangster on the border. You don't want to jump in that boat. But
no, you don't want that.
That's what comes from them. Down there, am I missing something? And then they watch people onboarding, interacting, and saying, what? And you know, expressing their own pain points, bottlenecks, issues, and they are seeing them changing, transitioning to transformation. And when they are witnessing that, they are going, hey, they can do it, that I can. And then they come back. And you know what? They come back with some few bills in their hand saying, I got some little cash to buy the medication and follow up therapy. Can you help me? And they say again, please. We won't turn them down, of course, you know. And that's the point. So I've been blessed to meet a great individual, and Nathaniel is one of them, and one of the most great of them. And I really encourage people to engage with them. We call that social conversation. Of course, there's always, and let's be true, let's talk about pain points, and a cat is a cat, a frog is a frog. It is social selling. Personal branding is social selling. And you have two ways to exist and perform that. Whether you use the push strategy, harassing people, pitching product, elevator pitch, blah, 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 and blah, two hands in the air, we're going to save the world, but nothing changes. That is exhausting you. This is why it's a big of a pity that brand marketers and some other marketers are using MLM, affiliate marketing, network marketing in the wrong way. because if you analyze the fact, if you don't AI module servers well, it's a Ponzi scheme at the end of the day, and
Well,
that gives a
I
bad
think. Sorry,
reputation to social media. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I think in fact the major problem is not MLM, and it's not those kind of schemes. It's in fact social media. People think that just because everybody does it, that they can do it, right? And actually, no, you can't do it until you get your personal brand right, yeah? Because it's like you're just wasting your time, yeah? When you get your personal brand right, the business comes to you. It doesn't, as long as you're seen to be there, yeah? And people like you. So it's people know you, they like you, they trust you, yeah? And you get the personal brand right, then you are building the knowledge. You're out there, and people want to do business with you. They're not going to want to do business with you if they don't like you and you're not authentic and they don't trust you. So you build all these things together. There are only 3 reasons people do not buy. Okay, and this is the product isn't right, the timing isn't right, and the pricing isn't right. If you have all of those elements in place, then you just, people are going to want to do business with you, right?
Okay, so I was thinking to myself that one of the greatest exercise for personal branding is to blog, to be a blogger, or where better, don't be shy, show your colors and become an author. So we're lucky today. I have a guest for you guys that you can engage with. I'm gonna upload her in a minute. Her name is Roseanny Lui. She is an author, and she created a website here called Right On. So I'm gonna leave my place, get back in the shadows, and upload a Roseanny Lui with us, so you guys can engage. It's gonna be a kind of guest session that you can guys exchange Q&A, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate it.
To Nathaniel.
That's a good picture of me, man. It doesn't look like Roseanny. She's probably going to correct me. That's one of my favorite pictures. It was in a street in Spain, that one. But she's going to correct the pronunciation of her name, hopefully. I'm really bad with name pronunciation. So, hello. Nice to see you.
Hi. Hi, guys. How are you?
Very good. Very good.
Right.
Thank you.
So that transformation, though, I mean, what Stephane was just talking about could sound like a lot of work. Oh, no, I have to make them know them, like me, and trust me. That's going to take forever. Well, the truth of the matter is this can be accomplished very quickly. If you're clear on what you're doing and the process that you're using, it can happen very quickly. So, and a book is a great way to do that, isn't it? Because it enters that conversation that person's having already, and you get this one-way conversation, and it's personal. All right. Why don't you tell us about your book? I think that would be really helpful.
I have a couple of books, and the third one is on the way. But one of my first books is How to Survive Elementary School, that I wrote with my daughter, who was 9 years old at the time.
Okay.
And my other book is my memoir called You Did What Now? So they're both nonfiction. And my third book, that's a work in progress, is also nonfiction called A Crazy Day on the Job As, where I interview lots of people about their occupations, about their craziest day on the job. So if we're talking about branding, my branding as an author is that it's nonfiction, and if we streamline even more, it's about me talking to various people and their points of view about a certain topic. So for one, it's elementary school. For this third one, it's about their craziest day. So with my freelance journalist background, I bring in multiple perspectives onto this one topic and present it to the audience so that we see multiple angles about this one subject. So in a nutshell, that's kind of my author branding.
Okay. Fantastic. So that's your personal brand is tied up in that giving multiple points of view on a topic. Okay.
I believe so. I mean, for the most part, I write about subjects that interest me, but I definitely make sure to pull in other people, experts or consumers and users, middle peoples, and how they think about this subject. So that it's not just Roseanny talking, but the reader can see, oh, it's multiple people who are affected by this points of view. So, and that's what I did when I wrote freelance articles, is that, you know, as a journalist, you have to multiple, you know, at least 3 different points of view and get their take on the story, right? So that it's not an editorial. And I bring that type of technique into my books as well.
Fantastic. That sounds great. You know, it's why you're different, right? Because there are very few people that say that. You're the first person I've heard who's actually said that. Yeah. And I appreciate writing is tough, you know, and being able to write and actually put yourself in someone else's shoes is just fantastic. So yeah, well done. That's a big thumbs up from me on that explanation. Fantastic.
Yeah, and then, you know, we have to be kind of careful between what is the author's point of view versus the people we're interviewing. So, you know, as you said, one of the difficult parts is we have to make sure we separate ourselves from our opinion when we are trying to convey, say, Jason's or Nathaniel's point of view about their craziest day on the job. So an author needs to be very clear on whose point of view are they talking. And even as I'm presenting Nathan's point of view or Jason's in the book, you know, we have to be careful. Roseanny's voice doesn't influence what Nathaniel's saying, because with the choice of words, I could very much skew your point of view. So that's something a nonfiction author needs to be very careful on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very important, isn't it? To be authentic is just, it's key, really, you know. Yeah. So,
and especially when you're interviewing other people for a book, you know, then you have the added responsibility of maintaining your interview subject's authenticity,
right?
So that you're not overshadowing them with whatever your brand is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's very much the same when I work on a personal brand with people, and it's almost like you have to listen to what they're saying, and you might help them with a few words, you might help them distill it, but actually if you put in your personality into that, it doesn't work. It has to feel really good to them. Like it's almost like if they could write and use the same words as that you've used, they would write it in that way. It's exactly the same, except for you're writing as the person. I'm just helping them to create a blueprint, because I don't do anything else. That's all I do, is I help them with the blueprints, and then they have like they have a framework to take to a PR company, or if someone's interviewing them, they can send them an introduction, you know. So
right.
It's so you're kind of a little bit further down the line. I kind of start at the beginning of everything, and then you would be a little bit further along the way. How exciting is that? It's great, right?
Yeah, and I see the question that Stephane is posting. You know, what's my biggest struggle with having a brand and as an author? I would say it's still evolving, but you know, for the most part, my audience can see that I write about nonfiction, because with my journalist background influence, nonfiction is what I really, really know. And with the brand, I just write about what I like, and I happen to find a market of readers that also want to read about what I write about. So for the elementary school book that I wrote with my daughter, obviously there's a built-in audience there among parents and families with young children. This is part of my life, and will be until my younger kid graduates from elementary school, right? And I wrote about my own life with my memoir, and now I'm writing about the craziest day on the job, because you know, I hear about these stories all the time. So in terms of brand struggling, it's not so much a struggle as much as if an author writes about what really interests them in the first place, I think naturally the story will flow, and naturally he or she will find the audience and the participants for this story. And I naturally just find them. People want to tell me about their craziest day on the job all the time. It's like they need an outlet for this. So I want to put it as a book.
I like that. I think that's very smart. Very smart. Very clever.
So, I mean, yeah, we just have to do what interests us, and then people can feel the infection of our passion and interest in this subject, and they either want to jump on the bandwagon or they don't. And
yeah, I agree. They either feel the passion and they like it and they want to enjoy it, or they don't. And if they don't, then let them go and buy something else. You know, I mean, the world is full of potential customers and clients, right? It's just huge, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody once said, if you're marketing to everybody, then you're marketing to nobody. So, you know, my readership is very particular. Even with each book, the readership can be even more particular. And that's okay, because that means over a series of books, then my audience will expand. But then, you know, my personal branding is still remaining the same. That it's nonfiction. Roseanny writes about what interests her, and what about what she knows, and there happens to be a built-in audience for that topic, and that's good enough for now.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. Really appreciate you dropping by. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for Roseanny Lui, author, and I encourage everybody to jump on her website, right on, and also engage with her. I think Nathaniel shuffled a little Facebook page contacts, I think. So we are maybe on time still because we started late, more or less. So Jason, Nathaniel, would you have to add a few other things regarding today's webinar, or should we go for next week for everybody? Because I don't have any more questions in the corridor, in the side room.
Okay.
I'm pretty satisfied because I was surprised that we just started the show and then 84 people simultaneously was like watching live already.
Nice.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
Usually it goes, you get 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and then takes maybe 30 minutes to reach 300 and something.
Well,
but actually, numbers are quite good. I would add maybe that when you're doing something with your personal branding or a Facebook Live, remember everybody, it's all about consistency and repetition. It's like believe in yourself. Whatever your shape is, you feel good at that. It's all about becoming an athlete at who you are and what you do. The reward is priceless. You will see people coming to you with no longer push strategy, running after everybody. People will come to you, and after it's all about being zazen, and first thing first, getting yourself organized for the good sake of your customer, of your client, the people you are really caring for, and you are authentically wanting to help them. And if you practice this way, and if you hire a professional to get you from transition to transformation, you will succeed. And you would be amazed by surprise, because at some point, you will not have to think to do it. You will be it. And everybody wants to be in that status of grace, like everything works fine for you. The universe is talking to you, sending you people on your path, good and bad. Don't be mad at people that are unorganized or negative. They can change. If they don't, that's really too bad news for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
I just wanted to add that, Nathaniel, your ability to step back when you're doing your consultations and not put your own point of view on is super powerful. And it's not that easy. I've worked with people and I've wanted them to be a certain way, and you want to craft the marketing message around that, but they're not really, right?
No, they're not.
And I also want to share with our audience that if you don't have your personal brand figured out, part of it can be searching for that personal brand for yourself. It's okay. That can be your personal brand. Is I'm the searcher right now, and I'm looking. It's perfectly acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to have it all figured out right from square one or day one. And getting back to what Stephane was talking about, that a lot of, again, thinking athlete, you think work, but it's like this show. We're not, I don't know what's going to happen in results as of today, right? From today's webinar, right? But the fact is, we were here last week, we're going to be here next week, and guess what? What we're broadcasting, it's going to be in line. It's not identical, but it's similar message, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a simple,
you know what you're going to get.
Simple process, and people complicate everything, and that's what needs to stop happening. Yeah, it's like I've had enough of the two different things. It's like, oh, I know I'm going to overload the potential customer so their brain is fried, and then they hire me. Yeah, with knowledge, or I'm going to tell them it's really simple. And then they try it themselves, and then they come back and hire me, because generally they it's like when you have a business, you work on the inside of the business, and that's the same when you're a person. You need someone to kind of coach you through the process, like you guys coach me through things that I need help with, and I help you with things, and that's what it's about, right? Working with great people. And some people aren't your customers, they're not your clients, because they don't get it, they don't get the direction that you're heading, and they don't understand you, and that's fine. The world there are billions of people. Right.
Yeah,
there's plenty to go around.
Because I'm having screen controls here, and I got some questions from other channels. I have this one. People are saying, hey, Nate, I see Nate, Stephane, and Jason, I see you're on bb.com, the famous personal branding social media platform, rising these days. For the past 24 months, they've been onboarding 12 million users in affinity networks, and people are blogging on that social platform, interacting like you do with LinkedIn or Facebook. And actually, people are asking, I just watched your last release of video, Facebook Live, personal branding, blog post, and over a few days, you got like 3, 4, 5,000 views. How do you do that? And after, people are looking in a short span of time, 66 people to 111 are engaging. How are you doing that? Well, actually, we have the stats, because what is not visible here, it's what's behind the scene. And if Nathaniel is okay with that, I must say that Nathaniel is equipped with web service, and they are AI powered. So he is organized. But that's another gameplay, right? Because he has to. Because if Nathaniel wants genuinely to help hundreds, looking towards thousands of people for personal branding, as a human being, he can't handle that in a day.
Yeah.
The machine can, because everybody has a stage of maturity in his journey for transformation from transition to transformation. And it's okay with that. Before running and flying, let's learn to walk, right? So in the post, we will add some links to the IP addresses web servers. So those are not domains, they are actually AI-powered web servers, row one. And you can go on what looks currently like a website, but in fact, it's a platform, right? And you can fill in the forms, engage, watch videos. You can watch the replays of this one and other things. And if for those that want to be inspired and are commuting in public transport, most of them have the opportunity to buy and download Nathaniel's books called Cheers to You, It's been launched for Christmas. Actually, it revived a lot of people. People were inspired by that. I got the like to buy it and download it and read it and apply some scopes that I were not aware of because you have actually recipes, templates that you can write on it. So the a part of the personal brand toolkit is there. Of course, personal branding curricula is something not huge but consistent, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why you can engage with Nathaniel to hire him for your session. But actually, if you want to proceed step by step, you have a web server available for that, and we will put the links in the comment section so people can interact with AI module web servers. And then after, when people are ready, the data collected in that, come from to the regulation. We will get back to you, and Nathaniel will get back to you to understand whether you are a face-to-face private session person, or if you are more social and you are more into a community transition to transformation.
Yeah, very much
Yes,
so. Well,
Stephane, that image, the pair of images that you shared yesterday, and I commented on, I hope you share them here. The one about the old school funnel compared to the IBM server, and the reverse. Seeing is believing, and the picture is worth 1,000 words. When you see those two images in contrast with one another, the old way and the new way, it's instantly apparent.
You will agree with me. It's all about the personal journey. I think, of course, what I publish is goes way beyond personal branding. I'm not a personal branding expert. I'm not a trainer. I don't do session for personal branding. I use personal branding when the personal branding is natural, because there are a lot of things that must go. Because once you have the personal branding, you are, I would say, not playing in the Olympics, but you're playing in the major leagues versus big competitors. When I'm saying big competitors, you have your regular competitors, and the market has one budget in a wallet.
Exactly. But I think sorry I think we should close here.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is you need ambition, right? If you don't have ambition, then don't talk to me. I'm not interested. I'm not being funny. I if you've got problems, I might help you, but you need ambition. Because if you don't have ambition, how are you gonna go the extra mile and push yourself to take action, right? You must have it.
It's called the Quan. Remember Jerry Maguire? Yeah, he said,
show me the money.
I need to help you.
Show me the money.
But also remember the football player was saying, I'm the ambassador of Quan. And because everybody doesn't understand that they have a magic in themselves. It needs to be revealed, right? And when Nathaniel is talking about ambition, it's the inner hunger, the motivation to overcome obstacles, right? And that's when Nathaniel is phrasing ambition, is talking about that. You need to be thirsty. You need to have some hunger in your belly, because this is the engine that will propel you above the obstacles. Because obstacles, let's get real, there will be obstacles. It's not an easy process. And I'm saying, and also everyone say that's your motto, Stephane. This is not going to be easy, but we're telling you this is going to be worth it.
Exactly.
And it's all about the journey and your Kickstarter. You need to have ambition.
Yeah.
Of course, get rid of your negative thoughts. Put them aside. If you want to keep them, but put them aside. Put them in the passenger seat. Say,
agreed.
Hit their hands. Say, take your hands off my wheel. I am the driver. And then you can go back to the garage and the mechanics, and then you will see the front door, Nathaniel Schooler with a zip, a blue suit, and it will fix it. It will fix it.
I can help you fix it.
I think we're going to wrap up on this because time is passing by. I would like to thank you for your time, guys. Also for the audience for joining.
Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Yeah,
I'm seeing new faces. I'm seeing also known faces like Ingrid Bosman in Carcassonne, France. So it's a complete worldwide show. Do not hesitate to engage with Nathaniel today and tomorrow. Think about it the weekend. It's really worth it. Your life, your professional life will change. Don't worry about the future. The game will scale up by itself. And because you are part of the community, because you're not alone, that's an example today. And people are watching several brands on several channels, we interact with others. At some point, do the math. It's a multiplying factor all the time. Yeah. And I am saying being happy, being wealthy, being successful it's all about being at the right place, at the right moment, with the right people.
I agree.
And I will close on that for today.
I agree. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. I love working with you guys. You guys are just amazing. Yeah. Great weekend, everybody. And
Friday, 10 a.m.
Next Friday.
Standard time.
Yeah, we'll be here.
What that would be? 3 p.m. something?
3 p.m. UK time. We'll be here.
And everybody can bring his cup of tea.
Yeah, bring your tea and make sure we're on time. We'll be on time next week. All right. Sure. So anyone that's upset about that, we're sorry we were a bit late. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys. I'm going back to play with drones. drones and 3D printers. Seriously, can you believe the image? I might post a private album later. It's hilarious. I don't know whether it will fit with my brand though. It might be a little bit too much. I'll send you a picture, Jason. You're gonna laugh.
All right. Please do.
Okay, take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you next week. Thank you.